I don't need grammar, I just want to communicate. Grammar is boring, I don't like to study grammar. Hi everyone, my name is Arash and I want to teach you how to learn grammar in a perfect way. To use grammar professionally, to use it fluently. So if you have any of these three objections, I'm here for you. This video is for you. To a lot of people, grammar is a boring word. They associate grammar with boring exercises, boring texts, formula, structure that I don't like to do. But why do I need grammar? For making friends, grammar helps you to look native, so you can speak fluently and natively. For business deal, if you want to learn structures to influence, to have a positive effect on your business partner or customer or anyone else who is your audience, you need to learn grammar. The next one, academic texts. If you want to study in another university and English is your second language, you need to learn academic English to understand academic texts. In the academic world, you're gonna see very complex structures. You need grammar to understand that. So these are three reasons that they need grammar: making friends, business deals, and academic texts. I'm going to teach you a 4-step practical plan on learning English perfectly. Step 1, have a book for reference. Step 2, find your weaknesses. Step 3, templating. Step 4, make flashcards. Let's get down to it and learn each of them in detail. Step 1, have a book for reference. Why? We have tens of major topics in English, and each of them contains tens of subtopics, tens of smaller topics. Where do you want to start? Which grammar do you want to study first? It takes years and years to study the whole English grammar. English grammar is so vast, it's so endless. So where do you want to start? You need to study the lesson that is pitched to your level, that is adjusted to your level. A grammar book, a good grammar book, adjusts English to your English level. It sorts all the lessons in a perfect order that you can read, study. It also eliminates any additional lesson that you don't need, any additional grammar that is not appropriate to your level. Also, grammar book contains exercises to help you to master each grammar. 2 types of books that I suggest you to have is 4 corners, upper intermediate or advanced. If you are the audience to my channel, you are upper intermediate, either upper intermediate or advanced learner. So choose one of these 2 books: Grammar in Use, intermediate or upper intermediate or advanced, or 4 Dimensions. Now that you have the book, you need to find your weaknesses, find out your errors, find where you lack, where you come short. List 5 errors, 5 mistakes that you constantly make, your repetitive mistakes, your frequent errors. But how to discover them? By the help of your teacher. Whenever you are speaking in a class or writing something for your teacher corrects you. You can write an essay to your teacher and ask them to highlight and correct your grammatical mistakes. Find out what mistakes do you make constantly. See which mistakes you make more often in your speaking and writing. I don't have a teacher. Somebody may say, well, I don't have any teacher. What is your suggestion for me? Well, your English grammar book can help you here. Grammar books have so many exercises and quizzes, and you can take them in order to understand where do you come short. So take part in a quiz. Also, there are lots of online grammar quizzes that you can take part. Just search on the Google online grammar quiz to identify your weaknesses. See on which topics you make the most mistakes. But there's another method to identify your weak spots, and this is that great method, reading and writing method. Find a text, any text that you like a news and a newspaper, something on a website or a reading in your book, a story, anything that you like to read. Read that text 2 or 3 times. Read it over 2 or 3 times. And then close the book, put the book aside, and start remembering what the book said. Rewrite everything that you remember. Not just paraphrase it. Don't paraphrase. Write everything that you remember. Rewrite the text. I don't want you to make it too perfect. I want you to be as exact as you can. But don't worry if you're not too good. I just want you to do what you can. Then compare your text with the original. Now we can understand where did you make mistakes. Did you make mistakes with verbs, with adjectives, with adverbs, with prepositions? Now, in this way, you can find your shortcomings. You find the drawbacks and you identify your weaknesses. So now you have a list of problems. For example, my problems are past perfect. I don't know how to use them in a sentence. So I don't know how to use would. Mostly in my spoken English, because my teacher always corrects me when I use would. I don't know how to use punctuation when I write essays for my teacher. She or he, they always are preposition after verbs. I don't know the difference between bring on and bring about, and set on, for example, and set in, and also reported speech. I don't know how to use the correct form of tense in the reported clause, or I don't know, reporting clause, anything. Be as specific as you can with your list. Don't write just, I have problems with verbs. I have problems with adjectives. No, be as specific as you can. Identify your weaknesses in detail, in depth, not just a general topic. Now, if you have a problem with a grammar, there can be 2 main reasons, 2 things that you need to put your focus on. Form or function. Now, what is a form in a grammar and what is a function in a grammar? In this slide, we want to talk about form. Form is the structure of a sentence. If you don't know how to use the correct structure in a sentence, the correct structure of a grammar, you have problem with form. For example, we want to learn past perfect continuous. This is a difficult grammar for many English learners. The positive form is like this: subject plus had plus been plus verb ing. For example, I had been doing. I had been washing the dishes before my father came in, before my father came home. Many may not be familiar with the correct form. They say, for example, I had doing. They miss this been. Or they say, I had been done. These are mistakes with form, the structure. You don't know the correct structure. While learning form, you need to pay attention to the positive form of the grammar, the question form of the grammar, had, subject, been, ing. Had you been washing the dishes when your father came home? And then negative form, subject hadn't been, verb ing. I hadn't been washing the dishes when my father came home. Problems with form can sometimes be a force of habit. You make a mistake and you repeat it for so many times and it becomes a habit. And now you need to break this habit. How? By the methods that I'm going to teach you in the next slides. The method is repeating. You need to repeat the correct form again and again and again, but in the way that I'm going to teach you. We talked about form. Now let's put our focus on function. This is the second thing that is important in learning grammar. Function means meaning plus context. What does this grammar mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean in my first language, in my mother tongue? How do I express this idea in my mother tongue? And the context. Where should I use this grammar? When should I use this grammar? Is this formal? Is this informal? Is this a spoken? Is this written? Is this academic? No, I can use it with my friends hanging out. Is it a street talk? I mean, is it a street talk? Functions can be very difficult if your mother tongue doesn't have this grammar. If it's something new, there isn't any similar grammar in your mother tongue, you need to learn this grammar for the first time, not for the second time, for the first time, because it's completely new to you and you need to learn a lot of examples from your grammar book or maybe more examples on the internet. You can get help from YouTube videos to learn a lot of examples. You always need to find ways that you can express that grammar in your mother tongue. Your mind needs to associate what are you learning to your mother tongue. Mostly the most difficult grammar structures are those that don't exist in your mother language, mother tongue. For example, present perfect. Present perfect is a difficult grammar structure for many English learners because they cannot find this grammar in the mother tongue. Future perfect continuous. Hypothetical would. These are the grammars that don't exist in many languages. You always need to find the similarities between your mother tongue, your first language, and English, and also you need to find differences between English and your mother tongue in order to make everything clear for you. Let's talk about an example. I have taught this grammar in another video. Be bound to. I am bound to become successful on a test, for example. The meaning, be likely or certain to. So I need to talk about be bound to when I want to talk about something with a high probability, with a high possibility. Because it means be likely or be certain to. This is the meaning. I am bound to become successful on a test. It is bound to rain tomorrow because the sky is a bit overcast. I learned the meaning with examples and context. I use this grammar when I want to talk about a near future. It's not that formal or informal. I can use this in both formal or informal context. I can use be bound to in both written or spoken context, but it's more common in written English. I learned the meaning and context. So there are two things that I need to learn about every grammar that I want to practice. First, form. I need to learn the structure and repeat it many, many times. And second, function. What is the meaning? How can I associate it with my mother tongue? And what is the function? Formal, informal, written, spoken? Always think about how you would express the same idea in your mother tongue. Are you ready for the most important tip in this video? Step 3, templating. Templating is the most powerful tool that you can use. It's easy, it's useful, it's beneficial, it's simple, it's perfect. It's perfect in any way. In templating, this method, you take a part of a sentence, you take it out, and you finish it any way that you like, in different ways, by your creativity. Let's think of the example be due to. I have taught this grammar in another video. I am due to something. I am due to teach you English. I am due to study English. I learned the structure, the form. I, be, due to, verb, infinitive form of verb. This is the structure. Next, the function. It's used for talking about near future. This is the context, and the meaning. It's used for something that is expected or planned. Now I want to practice it. I write this sentence down. I am due to. Now I finish this sentence in 5 different ways. I am due to practice the piano for my orchestra playing, for the tomorrow's group playing. This is the first example. Second example, I'm due to meet grandma and visit grandma, pay a visit to grandma and see if she needs anything, if she needs my help. Second example, I'm due to cook a lot of foods because I'm going to throw a party tonight and I'm due to cook a lot of foods, and etc. Make 5 different examples with your creativity with the grammar. We are bound to. Be bound to means it is likely to happen, or it is certain to happen. To say that something is likely or certain to happen. Be due to, expected, be bound to, likely. There is bound to be a market collapse after the war begins. There is bound to means it is likely that there is a market collapse, there will be a market collapse after the war begins. We are bound to have a great vacation this summer. 1. Number 2. We are bound to make the cut in our championship, and etc. Make 5 different examples with this structure. Templating. Try to make sentences which are true for you. Involve your emotions, involve your memories, your life stories. Use the name of people that you share emotion with. For example, I'm due to meet John, who is my best friend. Use the name of people that you care about in your sentences. This is how you involve your emotions. Make the sentences meaningful to yourself. When you use emotions, you make the sentences meaningful, and this way they will be easy to remember to you. Imagine that you want to study past perfect. This is Unit 15 from Intermediate Grammar in Use. The structures I had done. There are some examples. I learned the form here. I had, for example, gone. We had, for example, seen. She had, for example, finished. So I study and repeat the form, the structure here, and I read some examples here. When Sarah arrived at the party, Paul had already gone home. This is one great example that I can use for templating. Another example. When we got home last night, we found that somebody had broken into the flat. Another example for templating. I take these examples, I choose these 2. When Sarah arrived at the party, Paul had already gone home. When we got home last night, we found that somebody had broken into flat. Now, I take some parts out of these sentences and I try to finish the sentences, fill in the blanks with my creativity. When blank blank somebody did something at a party, somebody had already done something. When I was dancing at the party, I had already got drunk. Good. When I met Sarah at the party, we had already become best friends. When I went to the cinema, to the movies last night, I found that the movie had been terrible. When I bought a laptop last night, I found that it had been broken in some places. Involve your emotions, use your personal stories, use the name of people that you mostly love, use the name of movies, musics that you like, the name of celebrities that you like, to make your sentences meaningful to you. Now you have made a lot of examples that are meaningful to you until this step. The next step is to make these sentences, use these sentences in a flashcards. Make digital flashcards by using Anki Droid or Quizlet. Use whatever application that you like better, that you think that they are more friendly. Using a flashcard app will help you to remember more when you study. Remember more of what you study and remember more of what you practice. You can use master sentences, which I'm going to teach you in another video. I'm going to have a video about making flashcards in a professional way to learn the most. You can use a master sentence on the top of a flashcard and you take some part out, and every time you see this flashcard you do the templating practice. It's a very perfect way to learn grammars. And you can review the sentences that you have made that once were meaningful to you. By flashcards, you can learn more than 70% of what you study, and it helps you to remember more than 70% of what you study. It saves a lot of time, so you don't have to study things again. Study your flashcards every day or as often as possible. Now, let's do a recap. There are 4 steps to master a grammar. Step 1, have a book or reference. Step 2, find your weaknesses, identify your errors. Step 3, templating. And step 4, make flashcards. Subscribe to my channel if you want to advance your grammar. Until next video, so long.